Good afternoon, guys. Let me just check everything is okay, the sound is okay, and the video is okay. So yeah, welcome to another TA update. Today is Monday, the 14th of February 2022, and it's just coming up to 2 p.m. So we start with the Bitcoin chart here on Coinbase. This is the daily chart, and you can see after that impulse we had a little bit of a pullback, but we haven't really had any resolution. We're still in the middle of this kind of imbalance area here, which has formed a little bit of a high volume cluster now, whereas before it was a big sort of a low volume area. But I've got a few rectangles here highlighted. This was essentially, this area was basically a very low volume area where the price has traveled very quickly through it before, and it's now formed a little bit of balance as we had a little bit of consolidation here, here, and here. So now we've got a little bit of a consolidation area there, and the price is just kind of rotating in between these two big areas of balance. So really we're waiting for resolution. What I'd like to see in terms of resolution is either the price comes down to the edge of this high volume cluster here. So this is what I was saying to you guys last week, around about the $40,000 level. There's plenty of confluence in those levels, so in that area, I mean. So basically I was hoping that the price would come down here and then bounce. So we're still waiting for that resolution. The price is just going sideways. Obviously we had the weekend, low liquidity in the markets, low volatility, and nothing really happened at the weekend other than just kind of like sideways price action, perhaps a few scalps on the lower time frames, but not really anything significant. The only thing significant in the price action that we've seen in the last sort of couple of weeks is the break in market structure, where we broke, even though we didn't break inside of this new balance area here, of the previous balance area, we did break market structure in terms of price action, where we've printed a higher high here. Okay, so it's the first higher high for the year 2020. Yeah, for this year basically, for 2022, because everything's just been lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, right? So now we've printed a higher high. So what we're hoping to see now is a higher low, and a higher low, I mean just higher than $37,000. Okay, so it needs to be higher than this level here. What I was really thinking is that the price would come all the way down here, test the edge of this balance, and very quickly run to the upside and then test the edge of this balance here, okay, where we would look for either acceptance inside of this to go to the next level of resistance, or we would get rejected and come all the way back down here. And none of this has happened yet, so we just have to be patient. We just have to be waiting and seeing what the markets will bring us. On the lower time frames it's a little bit more significant, but I'll go over the things that I'm watching for on the lower time frames so that you guys know what I'm talking about. So firstly, there's a couple of pivots. Okay, there's a weekly and monthly pivot, even though the monthly pivot has already been tested, but that's around this area here of $39,000, $40,000. Okay, there's that. And then also if we look at the monthly view app, that's exactly where the price is holding us up. Okay, so this is the monthly view app. As you can see, the price has bounced on there, and so far it's been holding a support. Nice bit of confluence with this little daily order block here. So far this is acting as support. The developing yearly VWAP falls right in confluence here with these levels here at the edge of the previous balance area. So again, around about $41,000, $40,800, something like that. And so this is the confluence that I was looking for. So a few pivots there, the edge of this previous balance area, which is also a low volume area here, and it would be the perfect pullback for a bounce there, which would also form a higher low, and then perhaps a little launch pad to take us up to the upside. None of that has happened yet, but these are the areas of confluence that are still in play, and these are the areas that I'm looking to buy. Of course, we will have to observe and see what the price does when it gets here, but for now, this level here, around about $45,600, $46,000, is resistance on the higher time frames, and the levels of support, like I said, presumably this level here around about $41,000, $40,000 should be support. Okay, we will have to wait and see what happens when the price comes down to here. If it rallies straight through it and then consolidates down here, I don't think that it will be very bullish. Okay, so if the price rallies straight through this, even if it comes and tests these highs here again, I think the most likely case scenario is that this area of imbalance here would now be resistance, and we test the other side of the balance down here. Okay, so that's the less bullish case scenario. Of course, the bullish case scenario is that we do either slow bleed or we come down to these levels here, and then we very quickly find a bounce, and everybody that was short down here will get trapped, and that will fuel the price of Bitcoin to go further up and test this next area of resistance. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see. Of course, this could just go up first, and if it does go up first, we've got a nice little daily order block here, which is perhaps better visible on the 4-hour. We've also got a weekly pivot here on Coinbase around about $43,000, and it has a nice little bit of confluence here with this order block here. Okay, so the price could also just go up first and come all the way up to here, right, and then find resistance and continue doing this smaller time frame lower highs. Okay, where eventually it will come down and test these levels that I've been looking at. But at the moment, I'm not seeing any indication of this. We're just seeing ranging. Okay, so this range is perhaps better seen here on the 1 hour. And you can see that this is the price action over the weekend. It's just been going sideways, slightly down, a sweep of the lows here, but this is the range. If I was to do a parallel, I would go from this high here to perhaps these equal lows here, okay, with this being a deviation, and you can see that this is the right range. Proof that this is the right range is that you can see that the 0.5 here, the middle of the channel, if you like, the equilibrium, is acting as resistance. So we know that this is accurate. Okay, and now we've gotten above, and obviously we've managed to get rejected off the midline, so it means that we're trying to get to the top side of this range. Okay, so not really the greatest of ranges to trade, but I'm not here to give you like sort of a range to trade for the next sort of few hours, because this will be completely null and void by tomorrow or by tonight. Okay, so effectively what we're looking for really is a run to the highs now, find a little bit of resistance, come back to the lows, and we either range here and we continue doing this sort of thing here inside of this balance area here, right, this newly formed balance area. God, that was a mouthful. And continue to be supported here by this monthly VWAP, or indeed we come, once we go to the highs, we maybe sweep the highs here and then come much lower down here to test those levels that I've been watching. At the moment, there's very little that I can predict in this thing. You know, on the lower time frames, it's very difficult to try and tell you, because this changes all the time. Okay, so at the moment it does look like we've just bounced off the mid-range. We could be testing the higher of the range, and when we get there, I expect the price to continue this same trend, okay, of lower highs and lower lows. Of course, we could break the market structure. If we break the market structure, that means a higher than this level here. Okay, so somewhere up here, and then we'll have to wait and see if we start sort of consolidating above here and print a little bull flag in order to test these highs. But at the moment, I'm not seeing any indications of that. The volume is low. As you can see, volume is declining here. In fact, this is something to point out actually. Last week I did say that on this pump there was no increase in volume. There was a spike in volume, and then the volume was descending. But as you can see here now, that this whole price action, we did have a little bit of an increase in volume there, okay, and the increase in volume continued right up to here, right up to the top. Of course, now it's decreasing. So there is a little bit of an argument for the bulls, where you could say that this is indeed a bullish price action, if you like, bullish price action to the upside. But we just need to see evidence of that. Okay, I would like to see a lower retrace here, and a nice confirmation by a big impulse candle, like a bullish breaker if you like, down from these lows. But we'll have to wait and see. Further confluence to this is in Exocharts, so I'll just go ahead and explain this in a minute in terms of order flow and market profile, where it'll make a lot more sense, and I'll go through the whole of this move here, why we've been pushed down and where we're likely to see the push up. First of all, I just wanted to highlight another thing, which is the options contract for the end of February. And the max pain price was at $40,000 just on Friday when I did the last TA update. Max pain price is now at $41,000, and we're still around about $1.5 billion in notional value for this. Okay, max pain price, for you guys that you don't know, it's just the price of where most of these puts and calls will expire worthless. Most of these options will expire worthless at $41,000. And what we've seen from observations that I've seen in the last few months is that as we approach the expiry date on the last couple of weeks of the month, approaching the monthly expiry, we tend to see the price come closer and closer to that max pain price. Okay, it doesn't always hit it, but it gets very close. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like I said, volatility is dropping, where you've just been going sideways since the 5th of Feb. For the last 10 days, it's just been going sideways, as you can see here. And the max pain price has just increased from 40,000 to 41,000. And yeah, I think this is just a price that you guys should keep in mind. And 41,000 is, of course, round about where this low volume node here is. Okay, this low volume area. So, which kind of makes sense, and it adds confluence to the balance areas here. Okay, so the edge, the top edge of this high volume cluster here, right, is round about $40,900, $41,000 effectively. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the price come down a little bit lower, where there's so many confluent levels here. So yeah, I would like to see that these pivots taken out. This would get people thinking that it's going back to zero again, and then a nice little bounce. But we'll have to wait and see. So I'll have a little look at Exocharts and try and explain the mechanics of this, if you guys don't mind. So as you can see, we were ranging down here for quite some time. When we rallied from $33,000, we started going sideways, and we ranged here in a little bit of liquidity engineering. And obviously the shorts must have been well offside, and all the short stops would have been up here. Of course, when the price rallies above that, it traps all of these guys that were short, takes out all their stops, and it rallied very quickly and left some single prints. Effectively, single prints are just where the prices rallied so quickly that there was no opposing order flow to that. Okay, so you can safely assume that in these single prints, you've got plenty of trapped shorts. Okay, so this is where these guys that were short are now trapped, and they're waiting for the price to return to this level in order for them to exit their positions to cover. Okay, so exit at break even, because they can't stand the pain anymore. They're completely underwater. For swing traders, it's not a big deal. It's only been a couple of weeks, but the people that were trading on the lower time frames, obviously they've been liquidated, or they've closed their positions at a loss or whatever. However, on the daily time frame, when you look at this in terms of swing trading, this is perfectly normal. So I do expect quite a bit of liquidity at these levels here on these single prints, in the way of market buy stops. So basically all the stops from the guys that were short, right? In order for them to exit their position, they have to exit with buy orders. Okay, that's how you buy back your shorts, so that you can exit your position. So anyway, that's where the trap shorts are. And the price rallied up above here, and at the high here, everybody got very excited, and everybody that was long here, I'm going to expand this one here, so it makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so everybody that was long around here and around here in this area here would have gotten trapped as the price came back down here. Okay, so they're trapped at the top there, and they're thinking, uh-oh, this is going to turn around on me. So what they're going to do, they're going to start selling, right? So this is the selling pressure that we've seen all the way down, right? So everybody that bought the top is thinking, oh shit, this is going to go down now. So they start exiting their positions, which actually exacerbates the selling pressure and pushes the price down. So the price starts rotating sideways here. We had a couple of profiles here that overlapped. So this was basically a merged profile, and you can see that the price here today just bounced perfect. It's up here now, but it bounced perfectly off that naked point of control, right? So everybody that was long here started adding selling pressure, and some of the people that perhaps were shorting at this top here left their stops, and now they're exiting at break even, and we rally to the top. So this adds confidence to the fact that none of these people that were short down here have come out yet. Okay, so if the price does come down to $41,000, $40,000, something like that, or 39, this should be buying pressure here. Okay, because again, these guys are trapped. So you know, even though we've created a nice little bounce here and we bounce off this naked point of control, I wouldn't be surprised to see the price come all the way up here to 43,300, 43,400, something like that. Tap this naked point of control here and then just carry on down, okay? Because a lot of these guys that were long are probably waiting for higher prices so that they can exit their positions at almost break even. So it's exactly the same as this here, but in the opposite direction, if that makes any sense. Okay, so these guys now are waiting for the price to come up, and when the price comes up, they can exit at break even. All those longs, their stops would have been market sell orders, right? So as soon as the price comes up a little bit, they exit their position, which again is market sell orders. So it pushes the price down. So I would expect the price to either be ranging here now, or indeed, if this selling pressure is a little bit more overwhelming, then it will unbalance the price, and the price will go a little bit lower. So I hope that explains the dynamic of why I'm hoping for these levels down here. This is just all confluence, okay? Of course, we could come all the way up here to $43,000, $44,000, okay? And then still come back down again, which is exactly what I've just explained here, right? We can come and tap this naked point of control and come down. But we'll have to wait and see. Of course, if we come up here and then just continue rallying, then, you know, acceptance for me above $44,000, $45,000, it's an indication that we're going to go much higher and perhaps test these highs here and test this resistance and see if we can break above it. If we can break above it, then the bullish case scenario is back at play, okay? And I would be looking at this level here, at this low volume node here, to act as support, and then we'll be targeting 53,000, okay? That's if the price rallies and breaks this previous high. So I hope that makes it clear. Like I said, I'm just kind of like seeing the price just doing this, something like this, okay? Just going sideways for now, eventually breaking to the downside, trapping a lot of shorts down there, and then just rallying up to the next level of resistance. But that's my narrative, that's the play that I'm looking for. Of course, I'm willing to change my mind as price changes, and if we go up first, then I'll have to look at and see what price does up there. So I hope this helps with you guys, and I hope it puts things in perspective. Like I said, 41,000 is max pain price, and there's also the yearly VWAP, and there's all these pivots, and there's a low volume node here to the downside and the edge of this high volume cluster. So there's plenty of confluence at those levels there that to me just seem to make sense, okay? Another thing that I could show you, for example, is if you pull the Fibonacci, I'm going to look at the Devil's Pocket Fibonacci here, and I'll just go from before the impulse, from these lows to the highs there, and you can see that this pivot has perfect confluence, right, with a 618 and the golden pocket there, okay? So this level of around about $39,000, $40,000 is a level of interest for me. There's just plenty of confluence. Of course, there's a drawback from that, is that everybody's looking at that level, okay? So what you have to watch out for is that we don't go straight through it like this, right? Try and put a straight line. Go straight through it like this, and then back test it and confirm this as resistance, and then go much lower. Okay, so that's what we'll have to watch out for. I don't like crowded trades, if I'm honest. 9 times out of 10 they don't play out, so this is quickly becoming a very crowded trade, so we'll just have to wait and see very, very carefully. Anyway, that's enough on Bitcoin. I've already covered Exocharts as well in terms of market profile, and you can see that I'm looking at this area here, right? So $49,000, $40,000, $39,000, and perhaps even a little bit lower, around about 39,200 to 38,000. But you know, actually, if we come all the way down here, I'll be a little bit more reluctant on longing, just because there's so many anomalies below with naked points of control. So really, I'm looking for a bounce here, and if we come below here, I'll be very, very careful, and I have to observe price action in very closely to see if this is a long or if it's a short. It'll be very confusing if it comes down here. So that's probably how it'll play out. So you'll just have to wait and see. So anyway, so that was Bitcoin. In the meantime, I think that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. It's just, yeah, we're bouncing on the monthly VWAP here. We've not tested the yearly VWAP, and yeah, I think I've covered it enough. So let's have a look at Ethereum USD. Ethereum USD, we are very much, we've tested this, the edge of this high volume cluster here now, and we're very much on the way up, trying to test the edge of this volume cluster, of the middle one, okay, as you can see here. In fact, let me just make it a little bit less confusing by removing the volume profile on this side here. So you can see the balance areas, they're clearly marked out where these volume clusters are. And yeah, the price did fall out of this balance. There's a little bit of a rejection there, but we didn't break market structure. We didn't print a lower low here, so we're still printing a higher low. And also it does seem like we bounced on the edge of this high volume cluster here, like sort of the low volume node there. All right, so in fact, if I adjust this a little bit like this, put it just on the edge of that one, you can see that that's more or less where the price bounced. So for the time being, I think 2,830 is support. This will be the next level of resistance now, because it's a low volume node. We're exactly at that level there, right? So on the edge of this balance area. So $3,000, or 2,985 to be precise, but let's say $3,000, a big round number, could act as resistance. If it does so, I do expect the price of Ethereum to do something like this, come to about $3,000, and then come and test these lows, where we'll have to wait and see what happens. At these lows, it's crucial that the price bounces again and gets out of this high volume cluster. If it doesn't, it will look something like this. Come and test the edge of this low volume area here, fail and act as resistance, and that's the entry for a short, where we'll be targeting, well, maybe not as low as that. I'll be targeting at first this level here, which is around about $2,000, and maybe even this point of control at $1,800. Okay, so 2,000 and 1,800 as the next level. But it was, you know, eventually it would probably come to around about $1,500, because when we enter a balance area, we tend to test both sides of the balance. The only thing that can disrupt that is the point of control, of course, or very high low volume nodes, which is a double distribution like we've got here. So we'll have to keep that in check, and we'll just have to keep looking at that and just seeing what happens. Of course, that's if we get rejected here. That's the bearish case scenario, right? The bullish case scenario, of course, is that we come up here, we find acceptance up here and confirm that this is now indeed support, and we go higher and we come and test these levels up here, $3,600. Okay. In terms of market structure, if you look at this as we are now, just without any indicators or anything else, you can see here that this high did not get taken out. Okay, let me just make a little better high here. This high did not get taken out. Okay, this is lower, right? So in terms of market structure, we're printing lower highs, and we're still printing lower highs. So it's not looking as good for Ethereum as it should, really. Like I said, unless we can break above here, confirm that this is a higher low, and then we break this market structure, okay, where we'll be looking at this level here as the next level of resistance. So we'll have to wait and see if we can break this market structure here and this high here, okay. So those highs need to be broken in order to confirm bullishness. And if it doesn't, then of course, like I said, come up here, come a little bit lower, and then if we find that this is resistance now, then we're very likely that we come all the way down here. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so now at least you've got targets to the downside, first level of support here. This is the low that we mustn't take out, okay, but if we break below this, then it's very likely that we do break that. The next level of support would be somewhere down here around about $2,000, and then around about here $1,800, which is basically this point of control. All right, so that's the levels of support there. Levels of resistance is this first one where we are right now, around about $3,000, and then around about $3,300 as well, somewhere around about there where the previous high is, and obviously $3,600. We could also just come all the way up here and then just fall out, okay? If it does so, this is a nice little order block there. I'm going to highlight that for a second so you guys can see this. Okay, so if we come all the way up here and then start rolling over and we can't even take this high here, that's a sign of weakness, and we will come and test these lower levels down here. Okay, so and again at these levels down here the same theory applies. We just have to wait and see if the price does indeed get rejected on the pullback. Okay, so this rejection here is essential, and that's basically what I'm looking for right now. Okay, it does look like we've already tested this level down here and we got rejected there, right? So this is positive, but we have to wait and see confirmation here. Confirmation again, just to repeat myself, we go above $3,000, confirm that we go above it around about 3,100, 3,200 or whatever, come all the way back down where it looks like it's going to dump, but in fact it confirms this as support and it starts rolling up. Okay, starts rolling up, you can start scaling in to go long and targeting around about $3,600 on a swing trade, you know, for the next few days or weeks. So we'll just have to keep that in mind. I hope that is clear for Ethereum. Let's have a look at Ethereum versus on Exocharts, and just to see if there's any clues regarding market structure, you know, market profile here. So we're right on the edge again of this high volume cluster, like I said on the here, we're right on the edge of this high volume cluster, and we're looking to see if we can get acceptance back above. Okay, there's a fair value gap here, and there's a naked point of control at around about 3,095, so 3,100, something like that, and then there's another one here at around about 3,220. Of course, if we're going to go much lower, we could even tap this 3,100 and go much lower, right? But if we come all the way up here and then confirm this low volume node here as support, then we're off to the races, just like I was saying before. The same scenario applies that what I explained to you guys on Bitcoin in terms of market dynamics. You can see that a lot of people that were short here and here perhaps got trapped when the price rallied up. Sorry, I just needed a drink there. When the price rallied up, it kind of left a few single prints behind here, around about $2,700. And also these were not single prints officially because there's only 2 prints there. Usually you need 3. But you can see that the people that were short here would have had their stops above, and when this rallied, it trapped them. Okay, so these guys are trapped at this level here, right, around about this level here, and those are the shorts that are trapped. And then here at the highs, everybody that was long saw the price reverse, and of course they are now trapped long, so they start exiting their position, which essentially is selling pressure, and the price starts coming down. Where does the price stall and start going sideways? Exactly where these trapped shorts were, right? So that's why the price is going sideways here. So again, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little sharp move to the downside here. See if we can find support at these levels where basically these guys down here were short, trigger their stops or even allow them to get out at break even. Okay, it has confluence with this low volume node here around about $2,800, $2,770, something like that, and then bounce from there. Okay, of course the Ethereum is very much dependent on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin decides to dump, Ethereum will follow. If Bitcoin decides to pump, then Ethereum will follow too. As you can see here on today's profile, Bitcoin is going up right now, and so is Ethereum. So just bear that in mind. Of course, these coins have got their own TA, but at the end of the day, they all follow Bitcoin. So it is what it is. And we can have a look at Ethereum versus BTC here, and just see where we are in terms of in terms of the market structure. So in terms of market structure, we've kind of tested the lows of this balance area here. This is also a high volume cluster here, period of consolidation. We tried to rally, but we've printed still a lower high here, and we could not get above that. We didn't test these levels of resistance. So we'll just have to wait and see if the price indeed forms a little lower high here, sorry, a higher low here, and then carries on and does something like this. Okay, take out these first levels of resistance here, confirm them as support, and come and test these levels here. Or if the price, just bear with me, I think there's somebody at the door, just excuse me a second. Recording something, hang on. I do apologize about that. I had somebody at my door. So anyway, the fun and games of having all this going live. So where were we? Right, okay, so we bounced on the line of support here at the bottom. We came back and tested that resistance. That resistance was indeed strong resistance, and we're just kind of going sideways. Now we need to see either the price bounce here and start printing a higher low here. This will be confirmed. And if we go a little bit higher, then we break this market structure here and perhaps target these levels down here. Of course, it's not guaranteed. And if we start the price just rolling over and coming to the downside and hovering at this level down here, then it is quite likely that we come and test these levels down here, okay? And then Ethereum will be outperforming Bitcoin. Sorry, Bitcoin will be outperforming Ethereum. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in terms of Bitcoin and Ethereum for the next few days. But the majors are definitely leading. I don't see many of the alts rallying, and this is usually a good indicator, the Ethereum BTC chart. And again, I'll repeat this in every single TA update. Unless you guys keep an eye on Bitcoin and what Bitcoin is doing, there's really no point to any TA on any of these altcoins, okay? If Bitcoin dumps 5%, then most of these shitcoins will dump 15-20%. So you'll just have to really keep an eye on, and it doesn't matter what TI I do, if they're at support, if they're at resistance. If Bitcoin is falling, everything else will follow suit. Okay. So again, Ethereum BTC, we tested the lower area of the balance. I think it's more likely that we come and test the higher side of the balance. Okay, but you know, we don't know that. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Okay. At the moment, it does look like Ethereum BTC is 1.3% positive delta. So basically Ethereum is outperforming today Bitcoin by 1.3%, but you know, we don't know what could happen. Okay, so this could carry on and print basically a lower low and then continue doing lower highs and lower lows. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, my idea is that if Bitcoin does come and test $40,000, so if it comes a little bit lower, it will drag everything down with it. This will probably come and retest this level down here, and then we'll rally, okay? So we'll just have to wait and see. So that's Ethereum BTC. Let's have a look at FODL versus USDT on OkeX here. Don't know why that line is there. And you can see the price is making a nice little curl up to the upside here. Okay, so the price has got a nice little recovery, but it did find resistance at this level here, and now it's just kind of going sideways, but it's holding nicely as support, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a rally from here. The OkeX chart is not the most favorable one, so I'm going to have a look at FODL versus USDC here on sushiswap, just because it's a little bit more I don't know, it's just there's more liquidity there, I believe, and it just seems to be a little bit more granular in terms of price action, so I can see it a little bit better, especially here on the 12-hour chart. So as you can see, we broke above this level of consolidation, broke above it, we found resistance at around about 22 cents. We've come back down to test this level of support at around about 20 cents, but we've got a nice little green candle here where we are now at around about 21 cents. So we haven't even tested this lower 20 cents mark here. So we are in a low volume area here. So I don't know if the price is just going to carry on going sideways now and fill this low area of balance and rotate between these levels of support and resistance, or if indeed we break to the upside or to the downside. Okay, you can see here that we've got a low volume node here, and also in the low volume node there and there. Okay, so these are important levels of resistance, and in fact I'm going to adjust this slightly. This should be down here, and this should be here, and especially this second one here. This is resistance for now, but I think this second one here, we've also got an anchored VWAP there that should act as resistance. What we want to see here really on FODL is the price to rally and to get above this low volume area, these low volume nodes here. Okay, if we can get above this level of resistance here at around about 28 cents, then I think it's very likely that we start rotating between 28 and 37. Okay, and start going a little bit like that. Okay, perhaps even lower, because there's a low volume node here as well, as you can see, and you could just rotate like this. But between 28 cents, then it's going to be it's going to put all this low volume area below us. Okay, that should act as support. So that's what we would like to see on FODL. We'll just have to observe it in the price action and just see what happens in the next few weeks. So that was FODL versus USDC. Let's have a look at FODL versus ETH. Keep doing the same mistake. My volume profile is not loading for some reason. Ah, there we are. Okay. So these levels of support actually failed, but then got recovered very, oh no, okay. So this was actually previous price action from the 27th of January. So since last Friday, I think it was, which was around about the 11th, okay, we've actually just gone a little bit sideways. We haven't really done much in terms of price action. As you can see here, this was Friday around about the 11th, and we've just been going sideways. Okay, so this first level here in red was a level of resistance that we actually did break, and it's now below us, so it should act as support. Okay, but we've got still this level of resistance in this one and this one here above us. So ideally what we want to see is FODL to break above this and then start consolidating between these two. Okay, so this would be the next level of support. These two levels of resistance get smashed, and then this is the important level of resistance to consider. So basically what we want to see is something like this. Okay, price rotating here. That is well possible. It could happen in the next few days, but we'll have to have a look. Although, as you can see, even though the market's been a little bit iffy with Bitcoin and Ethereum, FODL's having a nice little recovery here. Very nice big impulse there, supported by some nice bit of increasing volume there, and plenty of accumulation before as well. So I think this is quite a sustainable move, and I also know all the things that are coming in the platform, so I do think that FODL is going to carry on going up and perhaps range at these highs here. So we'll just have to wait and see before we can make any concrete decisions. Next we look at AAVE versus USD. And not much has changed really on AAVE since Friday. And again, I'll reiterate, there's nothing, there's no point of charting and doing technical analysis in any of these coins unless you're paying attention to Bitcoin. Okay, of course, if Bitcoin is rallying, then these coins have got a bigger tendency to go to the upside. If Bitcoin is falling, then of course these coins tend a tendency to go to the downside. Okay, so right now we're on the edge of this balance cluster here, of this high volume cluster, and of course we're finding it a little bit difficult to get above $160. Okay, if we can get above $160, then we're balancing, rotating between $160 and $200, and we can do something like this. I do expect $200 because it's a big round number to be a strong level of resistance, especially because we've also got a few low volume nodes here that will confirm less participation from market participants, you know, like unwillingness to trade at those levels. Okay, so it's only natural that we find a little bit of resistance here. The next levels of support are the other low volume nodes at around about $100, $136, and like I said, the closest one $160, $150, something like that. So at the moment I think we're just going to range here, and it's going to be the case very much with all of the other altcoins. in relation to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everything is just waiting to see what the market decides to do. Okay, if we do break to the upside, I do expect $300 to be a strong level of resistance. Okay, also we've got 250, 200, 250, and then $300 is a point of control for this whole range. Okay, for the whole price action. So I do expect that to be very strong resistance. So just keep that in mind. AAVE versus BTC, we've fallen. This is interesting. So let me just delete these lines here. And I'm going to go on the 12-hour chart here. And you can see from this drawing that there's a high volume cluster here inside the balance area, and we had bounced up from there, and it got rejected there a couple of times. It was confirmed as support, so I was hoping that the price would come and test this level here. This will be the next level of logical resistance that you'd want to see. But of course the price just kind of like slowly bled to the downside. Okay, so we are back inside of this low volume, of this high volume cluster. So it is possible now that even if we test the edge of this, we find resistance and come and test this level down here. Okay, it is quite possible. We also do have a high volume node here at around about 3,200 sats. So this could be a potential area for a bounce. But we just have to wait and see what happens. So again, when we enter a balance area, it is quite likely that we test both sides. So like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see the price come and test this level down here. Okay, so this is a level of interest. This is a level of interest as well here. Okay, if we break above this, then we come and test this level above here. But yeah, we're not seeing that yet. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see. So at the moment, I'm looking at this level down here as the first point of interest. If we do, however, break to the upside, then this level here should be support, and we'll be targeting this level here. Okay. If we fall all the way down here and we cannot sustain the move up, okay, this next level of support will be resistance. It'll be an SR flip, and we'll test these levels down here. So we just have to wait and see how it's going to play out. But at the moment, very much just kind of like sideways price action. Okay, so this could be the range here, where it just kind of goes sideways for AAVE versus BTC. AAVE versus ETH is going to be very much the same thing. We're just kind of slowly bleeding to the downside. We have not tested these levels of support, but we have confirmed that this is indeed resistance, and so is this one. So at the moment, it does look like we want to fill this whole illiquid move, and that we're coming and testing these levels down here. That's what I'm saying on AAVE versus ETH. Compound versus USD. Again, very much the same story, and it's going to be the same for most of these coins actually. We're just going kind of like either sideways or slowly bleeding, okay, with very few exceptions. You can see that the price has just been, from the 11th, it's just kind of been going sideways, okay. So we could either just range here between this level that was previous support, now is resistance, because we are below it, okay. So this could now be resistance, and we come and test this level down here. All right, so these are the three levels of interest. So $100, nice big round number, $130 as resistance, and $150 as resistance as well. Okay, so that's compound versus USD. Compound versus Bitcoin. Slow bleed to the downside. We're pretty much at all-time lows, I believe, here on the daily chart. And you can see that all these lines are basically just lines of resistance. So levels of support, there aren't many. Okay, we're at all-time lows, and you just have to keep looking at big round numbers. Okay, so we're at 298. $300 should be a level of support, so we're right on the fringe there. And then going down from there, you want to look at $300 sats and 200 sats. Okay, so we're at 300 sats right now. We'll have to wait and see if we can get above that big round number. If we come down below, then you want to look at 200, 100, and so on. Okay, so that's compound versus Bitcoin. Compound versus Ethereum, very much the same thing. We're just going sideways at all-time lows, and we have no point of reference to the downside. Okay, so we just have to stick to big round numbers, but it does look bearish on compound versus ETH. BAT versus USD, we got a very strong rejection from that level above $1 there. We could not get above $1 and to get back within this range here. So we got a rejection there. We've confirmed back inside of this range here. if I put a nice little VPVR there so we can confirm the volume, you can see that there's a high volume cluster here, right? So at the moment it does look like we're kind of bouncing from the edge there, but there's a low volume node above us around about 92 cents. Okay, so price can just come all the way up here again. This would be resistance until proven otherwise, and we go and test this level down here, and perhaps this level down here. Again, like I said, we've just entered a new area of balance, so even if we go to the upside first, I do expect that to be resistance. Of course, we could just carry on going down and go straight to this level here and then straight to the next one, but usually when you enter a new area of balance, that's what happens. You go and test both sides of the balance, just like we've seen here on this consolidation. Okay, so tested above, come and test the bottom, swept out, come back into balance, tested it again, goes and tests the other side of the balance, and it just carries on doing that. Of course, there's a 50-50 line, an equilibrium line here, which is a low volume node here. Okay, and this is where we previously bounced as support. So if you're short here, then you want to be taking profits at this level around about 65 cents, but the ultimate target is still around about 50 cents. Okay, that's what we're looking for right now, and at the moment it looks bearish on BAT versus USD. Okay, the bullish case scenario is, of course, we break above this, confirm that $1 or 95 cents is indeed support now, and we go and target $1.35. But there's no evidence of that just yet. I think, in fact, the most likely case scenario is that we do indeed go down. So that's BAT versus USD. BAT versus BTC. This was a previous level of support. We've just broken down to the downside. Okay, so we're in a low volume node here, low volume area. So I think it just carry on. It can carry on down and perhaps take this next level of support around about 1600 sats, and then perhaps even this one down here. Okay, there's actually another one here, and it's quite likely that it comes to test this level here first and just see. So again, downside is more likely for BAT versus BTC. BAT versus Ethereum, we're kind of just rotating and we're going sideways and ranging in between this level of support and this level of resistance. So I expect this to carry on doing exactly the same thing and just being like this. Of course, if it doesn't break above this level here, which I've got highlighted in orange, I'm going to put that as red actually, should be a level of support there. Level of resistance, I beg your pardon. This should be a nice level of resistance there, as it is a low volume node. So if we break to the downside and then come back up, this should act as resistance, and we go and test these levels down here. Of course, if we break above it, this will now be support, and we come and test this level up here. Okay, at the moment we're just ranging, and I expect the price to do something like this. Okay, perhaps not as high as that in terms of deviations. It'll probably only come to this level here and this level here. Okay, so that's the two levels that you want to be looking at, and that's around about 3,500 sats and 2,700 sats. Link versus USD. Interesting. So obviously with the price of Bitcoin coming down, it dragged everything down with it. We were kind of an imbalanced area here. We managed to get above this low volume node. I put this little rectangle here as green to be to act as support, but of course the price just came straight through it. So it just shows weakness in the market. Okay, this should, in a normal market, if it was bullish, this should have acted as support, and it didn't. Okay, the price got below it. So again, I do expect it's a break in market structure. We were printing again higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and now we've just printed a lower low here. So I do expect the price, even if it comes all the way up to here, I expect this to be resistance now, and so that's what we're looking for right now. Okay, so nice level of resistance there, and I expect these levels of support to hold, especially this one here around about $12, $12.66 is the point of control of the whole range. See if that changes if I put it. No, it's around about the same. $12.50 is a nice level of support. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see if the price does indeed get as low as that. Okay, Link versus BTC. interestingly, we are holding this level here that I've got highlighted here as support. Okay, so it's, again, there's a two tap equal lows, if you like, here, and we rallied, and now we're right at that level of support. Okay, of course, if we bounce here, then these are the next levels of resistance. If we fail through it, then we'll go straight through and go on to the next one here. Nice big rectangle there, around about 2,500 sats. We'll just have to wait and see. But again, this is historical support. It's acted as support here, acted as support here, and here we are now. Okay, so the fact that it is historical support doesn't mean it's going to hold forever. Of course, the more it gets tapped, the weaker it becomes. So I wouldn't be surprised to see weakness in the price and actually come all the way down here for Link versus BTC. Okay, around about 2,500 sats. Link versus ETH, weakness in the market, as you can see here. We're very likely to come and test the edge of this balance, which I've got it as a rectangle here. This is basically this balance here, this high volume cluster. And if we get all the way down here and bounce, then we're very likely to come and test these levels of resistance here. But again, there's weakness in the market, so I do expect the price, even if it comes all the way down here, to get stuck on the way going back up again. Okay, so it'll probably be more likely that it'll just carry on down and test these levels down here, right? Uni versus USD, very much the same thing. We're holding at support. I don't know how much longer it will hold for support here. It's been tapped quite a few times. 3 times now, 4 times with this one. So the longer it hangs around here, the more chance it's got of coming lower. And if we break to the downside, then of course we're going to test this level here, and then this one, and then this one down here for starters. Okay, so that's around about $10. $10 is a big round number, so actually I shouldn't underestimate that. So I take it back. Where we are now is actually around about the $10 mark. So this is a big round number. I wouldn't be surprised this to hold beyond the 4 taps. Okay, so this could actually hold for a little bit longer, but you know, the more it gets tapped, the weaker it becomes. So it is possible that it comes also lower. If it comes lower, $8, $4, sorry, it's actually $4.89. So around about $5. $8, $5, $3, and $2 are the next levels of support. Okay, levels of resistance are on the chart, and it's around about 12, 15, and $20 here, 1962. As the significant levels of resistance. Okay, I wouldn't rely on this one so much actually, so I'm going to delete it just because it's in the middle of a distribution there. It's in the middle of the high volume cluster, so I'd pay more particular attention to this one here, which is the point of control, and this one here, right? So around about $15 and 19.20. So that's Uni versus USD. Uni versus BTC. Yeah, we just, like I said, we were resistance there. This is what I said to you guys on Friday. It did look like this is printing lower highs, and it's showing weakness. This level of support kind of held for a little bit, but it just, now the price is going straight through it. So I'm going to delete that. And the next level of support that I expect is right about here, which is where this low volume node is, and the edge of this consolidation here, the top edge of this consolidation. Okay, of this high volume cluster. So Uni versus BTC, you want to look at around about 2,200 sats as the next level of support, and around about 2,800, 3,000 sats as the next level of resistance. Uni versus ETH, very much the same thing. Price just going sideways and down, and yeah, we still can't break above resistance, and we are almost at all-time lows if you discount this this little wick here. Price is the volume is declining, the price is declining, so it's just showing weakness in the market. Okay, so even if Bitcoin decided to have a massive rally here, I don't know if these coins would catch up very, very quickly. I think the most likely case scenario is if Bitcoin does rally to the upside and then starts going sideways, then you'll see some of these coins start to rally. But until then, I do expect weakness in these altcoins versus Bitcoin and ETH, and the same trend to continue. So it's continuation to the downside. I hope this was useful. I apologize for the interruption when I had somebody at the door. But for now, I hope this was useful. I will have another TA update for you guys on Wednesday. In the meantime, check out the group on FODL. We've got a traders room there where you can chat about your trades, or you can ask questions. You can look at daily TA. There's scalping ideas and trading ideas constantly being posted in the group. So just just keep an eye on the group, join the group for free, and we look forward to having you in there and interacting with you. So in the meantime, trade smart. I hope you guys keep some dry powder to buy Bitcoin if it does indeed pull back, and I'll see you all on Wednesday. Take care. Bye bye.